Today's video, we're having a look at silver. We're also going to be having a look at India's annual budget and what's happening with Japan's economy and COVID lockdowns. Hello and welcome to another Acysecurities daily report video. My name is Alistair Schultz and I'm going to be your host through today's trading journey. The first thing I'm looking at today is a little bit of a market wrap up. We missed this morning's one. We do have a bit of action going on this week leading up to our Trading Cup event. So we're going to be combining them just for the next couple of days to make it a little bit easier on some of our studio crew. Now, the wrap up for today, we've seen US equities being quite volatile trading after Friday's losses over the weekend. We've also seen Chinese manufacturing data over the weekend come out a little bit weaker than expected. So in response to that and a few other things that are going on out of China, we've seen the Bank of China inject some cash, providing some much needed liquidity. And we've also seen stocks in Japan, South Korea and Hong Kong all rallying this morning on the open, as well as retail traders from Wall Street's bets and plenty of others around the world all jumping into silver. Now, looking at the key market events that I'm going to be keeping an eye on for this week, I'm going to be looking at earnings season, particularly Alibaba, GlaxoSmithKline, Ferrari, ExxonMobil, and BNP. Outside of that, we have RBA rate decisions tomorrow. We also have EIA crude inventories on Wednesday, Bank of England policy on Thursday, as well as Bank of India policy decisions on Thursday as well. Then US payroll figures, the first set for 2021 on Friday. So it'll be interesting to see how we actually are going with the employment situation and the wage growth in the US. Now, looking at what's going on with silver. Silver to the moon. The big thing that we've been hearing a lot is going to the moon from Wall Street bets. In this instance, we've seen Redditors and retailers starting to pile in. In fact, we've seen it happen not just on iShares and the Silver Trust that we were speculating on last week, but we've also seen it in the physical world with transactions increasing and of course account margins and people creating new accounts more than 3 times the usual limit that they would have. Now, so far, most futures are up about 8%, while spot markets are up about 6%. And what we can really see from this, like whilst I do like silver and the price is going up, I don't see this as a long-term sustainable thing. Even though GME was one of the big ones that we've all been paying attention to, only a month ago, Wall Street Bets was notorious for some of their losses. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out in the near-term future. Now, looking at in Japan, we've heard about the idea of a double-dip recession. We're not sure if it's going to happen. No one can be 100% certain, but it is certainly starting to look that way. They're going to be extending their state of emergency program for probably about another month with extra measures inbound in the way of fines for bars and businesses operating outside of the COVID restriction parameters. So the reason they're doing this, we're seeing lots of virus transmissions. They are accelerating in the numbers that they're getting per day. At the moment, it's about 630 cases per day. And we're hoping to see that there will be an easing of restrictions. Now, the limit for that is 500 new cases a day. But regardless, when we actually look at what's gone on so far in terms of stimulus, the loans that the government gave to businesses to help support them through the closures of businesses and, of course, everything else along the way, they are starting to run out now. So there are likely going to be a spate of businesses that have been able to get loans to cover up until about now. And really it's going to be getting very tight for a lot of businesses in the next 30 days, perhaps a little bit longer, when they're going to have to try and find some other alternative of income coming in. Now, moving into India's sort of situation, they have an annual budget coming out this week. It's going to be delivered a little bit later today, from what I can understand. So far, we're going to be focusing on economic growth plans across it. We're going to be hearing or hoping to hear about healthcare and infrastructure, which are both areas that can use a big boost, and it'll also help create a lot of jobs for them. Now, so far, really, the budget success is really going to be reliant on being able for India to curb some of those rising infections that are going on. Now, generally speaking, from what we're guessing on some of the numbers, nominal GDP, we're expecting to see estimates in around the 14 to 16% range, hoping obviously for about 15%. We're also going to be seeing a rise in taxation, most likely to be sitting in the petroleum sector and as well as corporate taxation as well. Now, we're also likely to see a lot of budgeting going on because it's obviously the annual budget, but not only that side of it, we're probably going to be seeing financing coming from the sale of state-owned assets and companies. So We're going to have to keep an eye on this situation. India is really the second biggest population other than perhaps China, and we're going to be having to have a look at how they might grow as an economy goes in the future, because this is going to be one of the countries in the world that will have a lot to contribute, particularly in the tech sector down the track. Now, moving on to the news ahead of today, outside of the annual budget out of India, we've also got German retail sales figures coming out, manufacturing PMIs coming out of Spain, Italy, Germany, and France, all slated in very short succession from about 6 p.m. onwards, Australian Eastern Standard Time. We're also going to be seeing the UK manufacturing PMI figures and, of course, manufacturing out of the US as well. So it is a day full of PMI for us to have a look at. And outside of that, the European unemployment rate will be coming a little bit later tonight. At the moment, it is sitting in about the 8% bracket. So definitely some things to keep an eye on. Now, if there's anything from today's video you would like to get in contact with me about, please feel free to shoot me an email or get in contact with me via any of my social medias that are available. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video so you can get more great content from me and ACY Securities in the future. Have a great trading day ahead.